Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Let me tell you, it's always good to talk in Miami, especially, when I see a lot of young faces. The reason that I want to talk about reinvention is because, at first, the first reinvention came when I was 11 years old. I was born in Cuba. Castro came to power, and I heard my mom talking to my dad saying, we're going to be stuck in a communist country. That night, I cried all night, and I told my mom, I'm leaving Cuba. I said, that's the only way I'll be able to get you guys out of Cuba. And my mom said, if you go, maybe we'll never get to see you. And it was really hard. Hard because, that was my first big decision. And when you say square one, you have to make big decisions, you have to do planning. And that's what I think is so important. In my life, that night, I became from a boy to a man. Because I knew that, when I was hugging my grandfather and my uncles and everything, that was the last time I'd be able to see them. But you know something, because I made that decision at that time, I live in a free country. And I think that's an important thing. 9 years later, my mom came to Miami, and then 12 years later, my brother and my nieces came, and the whole family was reunited. And when you talk about starting at square one, I left to Spain. When I left Cuba to Spain, I was crying the plane all the way to Spain. And my dad, who left with me to Spain, told me, "Don't worry about it. Everything will be fine." And you know something? That words always kept in my mind. That everything that sometimes is negative, you can convert it to positive. Even in my book, that's what I said. A lot of things in my book I talk about how things in life sometimes goes negative and you can convert to positive. When we arrived to Spain, I remember I got out of the plane and I walked a long corridor and I saw two priests and they told me, you are in Spain. And it was the first time I felt even cold because I was born in Cuba. And they took us to a place, give us some clothes, and they told us, you have to go to a place that you're going to be able to eat between Monday and Friday. It was like a church, for immigrants. But Saturday and Sundays, we didn't have food. And I saw a place that a guy used to play the accordion weekends. And I told the guys, if you let me play the accordion on the daytime, I will do that just for food for me and my dad. That was starting to be what I wanted to be when I came to Miami. I came to Miami and applied in Bacardi, which I spent 15 years of my life, and I learned so much. A great family that, teach me how to be not only a producer and musician, but somebody who definitely teach me to be organized and to have the corporate background that I have. But when I went to Miami High, I remember I went to school, and I was 18 years old. I went to have some lessons, music lessons. And the professor told me, you're too old. You're too old. You will never be able to learn music, and you have to do something else. And I said, well, something, I'm going to do what makes me happy. What made me happy was to make music. Afterwards, I won 19 Grammys. That's proof. That definitely proves, something that, that when you want something in life, don't let anybody change your life. Do planning. Plan things ahead of time. Reinvent yourself. We live in a tough economy right now, but I can tell you something. When you live in a tough economy is when you have to become more incredible creative. I was many years ago when I used to go to Sony, I only got money to go to the lobby of Sony with my single, and I remember not even money for the hotel. And being in the lobby, the lady told me, they're going to see you in a couple of minutes, Mr. Estefan. I said, please, I have to go back to Miami. I have to work. And I didn't have money to be in a hotel or something. That was when my career started. And the funny thing is, they told me, we're not going to promote conga. We don't feel it. That sound is not good. It will never happen in the States. And I said, well, that's the single. I never want to be successful if they don't know who I am and where I come from. And if it's one thing I feel proud, is that, something, even against all odds, we said, put the single conga out and became #1 all over the world. But not only that, with all the success that we have with Gloria and John Secada, even with Ricky Martin, I became the president of Sony for 14 years. And in the same lobby that was waiting there just to be able to see the vice president for promotion, they used to walk me and say, please walk on this way, Mr. Estefan, come this way. And you know something? That's what life is all about. It's how you can reinvent yourself. I remember, it was a time that, we have like Ricky Martin, Jennifer Lopez, Shakira, Carlos Vive on the charts, both charts, Anglo charts, Spanish chart. And I told all my crew, listen, the business of music is done, history. Downloading. Say, do you think it's never people will be able to buy albums? I said, no, we have to definitely reinvent ourselves. What we did, we start planning to do partnerships with Target, with AT&T. A lot of the AT&T commercials you see on the air, I produce and direct. A lot of the music definitely done. We need to get into movies. We need to get into other things, be able to do, and people to hear music in a different way. If you realize, you go all the way to, they don't use any more public telephones. They don't use any more Polaroids. It's so many things that they don't use even any more cameras. Now with your phone, you can take pictures and you can film everything. So in a way, I think we live in a time that is a challenge that you can do a lot of new things. You have a new generation, a lot of people with a lot of goals in life. Don't let anybody tell you you're going to do things. Even with all my limitations, even with my accent that I have, even when I'm in a hotel, sometimes they knock on the door and I tell the lady, listen, I'm leaving in 45 minutes. And the lady tells me, I don't speak Spanish. I'm talking to you in English. What are you talking about? So it happens. It happens all the time. But an accent is sexy. Not my age, but it's actually sexy. I was coming today in the airport, and when I was coming in the airport, there was a lady, and they see me and say, oh my God, I love your music. This is unbelievable, Emilio. It's so great to be able to see you. And she brought a kid, and the kid's sitting next to me. I say, who are you? I say, I'm Shakira. I say, you don't look like Shakira. I say, Ricky Martin. I say, nah, you don't look like Ricky Martin. I say, well, Julio Iglesias. I say, you look more like Julio Iglesias. So I think we live in a time that doesn't matter you're Republican, you're a Democrat, we're all Americans. In a way that we feel we have an incredible country. Definitely you have to make choices and you have to reinvent yourself, you have to be creative. When you have that limitation, and especially when you don't have a lot of money with the economy the way it is when a lot of young people definitely need to be more creative. For me, when they told me no, I said, I'm going to do it. When they told me no, when I went and I sit down with the Academy and say, I want to create the Latin Grammys, they told me that will never happen. CBS will never go on the air with the Spanish telecast, and we create the Latin Grammy. A lot of things, I feel that I feel happy in a way that I was very stubborn. I was very, because what was worse to be separated from my mom, to my whole family? That was the worst thing that happened in my whole life. But being in Miami, when they told me you have to leave Miami, I said I will never leave Miami. I love Miami. I love this country. We live in an incredible country. We have all the opportunities as soon as you work and you do these things with dedication. I can tell you we live in the best country in the whole world. God bless America, and thank you very much for coming today. Thank you.